Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing yet another movie review, so hopefully you find this one interesting. This movie is a horror film from the USA, English language, released in the year 2018, directed by Quinn Lasher, and this film is called He's Out There. So He's Out There is a very simplistic plot. You've got a woman and her two young daughters who come to this cabin in the woods in order to relax. Their father is a few hours away, he's running late, so until he arrives they let their hair down, they become accustomed to the surroundings, they settle in, but unfortunately before long they realise that there is an evil presence in these woods and it's trying to get inside the house. So the night descends into a moment of terror, and whether or not this family can fight back and survive the onslaught is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on He's Out There. I was expecting to hate this film. When I saw the trailer I thought it looks promising, but a lot of people panned it. It didn't get a very good score on IMDb, so it's very hard to shake off that criticism. But I was hoping that this movie would surprise me and that maybe I'll get something out of it. And after watching the film I will say that I was pleasantly surprised, because I think this is a movie that's a lot better than a lot of people give it credit for. Now yes, it is cliched. Yes, it has been done before. Yes, it's very simplistic, but I thought that it did the simplistic things very, very well, especially the attention as far as psychological horror is concerned. The first half of this film I thought was actually brilliant, is that it really set that platform to a point where I felt on edge, and I thought that this movie just didn't feel like it was static. You know, a lot of these movies, it's static and then all of a sudden all hell breaks loose and then you get into the movie, but I thought this movie had a very solid continuation from first minute to last, and I thought things were carefully thought out. So you got some very, very effective scenes as far as when this woman's looking out the window. I'm not going to give it away, but I thought, alright, well that really sent a chill down my spine, and it was very subtle, and this is something that you don't see very often in today's horror. Today's horror, it's all about visuals. It's not about building that sense of anticipation. It's not about that invisible presence suffocating you, and I thought that Quinn Lasher actually focused on these elements, and this is why the movie does provide something that you can watch, because yes, it's predictable and the predictability does give away some of the suspense, but even still it is still suspenseful because this director handles the scenes very, very expertly, and that's something that, as I said, was the biggest surprise, because I was expecting to hate the film, but I actually really enjoyed it. It goes for 86 minutes, and those 86 minutes were very well used up until the end. I thought the end was pretty bad, which I'll go into a little bit later, but up until the end I thought that the attention to detail was great. The atmosphere was fantastic. You've got a very good setting of this cabin in the woods. In the woods, it felt like basically a lot of isolation, so help wasn't on its way, so this family had to fight off this evil presence, and I thought that sense of dread was emphasised even greatly because of the fact that Yvonne Strahovski does a great job as this mother, the mother who's going to protect her daughters no matter what. There aren't too many stupid decisions from her. There are some decisions here and there, which once again is cliche, but I thought that her willingness to protect her family gives you that sense of relatability, is that you'll do anything for your family, you know, the love, trying to conquer terror, and it's basically an ongoing battle. And so I thought the performances from the for the two young daughters was fantastic as well. And this is where a movie can really sink or swim, is that you get good performances out of the young ones, then it can provide something that is an extra bonus. And I thought they did a great job at reacting to things in a very authentic manner. And this is where I liked, is because a lot of horror films, they see a dead body and then it doesn't really affect them, but in this movie it affects them to a point where I could actually feel sorry for them. So that's something I really like. You've got some gore scenes, and what I liked again is that it doesn't rely on gore. Yes, there are some shocking scenes of violence, but it's few and far between, so the emphasis is on the suspense, and I thought the suspense worked really well. It's a slow continuation as far as building up that sense of menace, building up that pressure cooker, and you know that it's like a stick of dynamite. The wick has been lit and it's coming up and it's coming closer and closer to the big explosion, and when the big explosion occurs, this is where it goes into visual horror. And so the visual horror and the psychological horror combine very well to make a very rewarding experience. So you've got very good use of sound effects. The sound plays a very pivotal role, especially in that first half, and so that was very good. And you've also got some practical effects as far as violence is concerned, so fans of that are going to like it. So if you are a fan of them and also The Strangers, the first one, you're going to really get something out of He's There, because I thought it was actually quite memorable. Now if I go into the problems, as I said, it's very cliched, it's very simplistic, so I knew what was around the corner in a lot of instances, and that does eliminate the potential the film had. And as I said, it's so well done that yes, it's still suspenseful, but it would have been even more suspenseful if there's a little bit of unpredictability thrown in there. Now, yes, it didn't have to be a movie that was going to have twists and turns. Just go down different avenues that the movie threatens to. It threatens to go over that threshold as far as decency is concerned, but I felt as though it didn't have the bravery to go that extra step. And so, because it's confining itself to safety, it does become somewhat cliched, somewhat predictable. And so, if you know what's around the corner, if you know what's under your bed, then you're not quite as shocked as you would be if you weren't expecting it. So, the ending, I thought was really bad, and fortunately, it doesn't derail the experience, because it's still a very fun film. If you go into it expecting a no-brains sort of home invasion movie, then I'm pretty sure you're going to like He's Out There. One of the biggest surprises I had in a while, and so for that reason, I'm going to give it 3 stars. Go out there and see it. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.